Hey folks, let me ask you something real quick. Have you ever looked at the back of your couch cushions and thought, hey, maybe there's a buck or two hiding in there? Well, what if I told you that one single quarter, yeah, just 25 cents, could be worth a cool $1,000,000 today? That's not a joke. We're talking about the 2005 Kansas State quarter. No mint mark. Nothing fancy at first glance. But it's turning heads and emptying wallets in the coin-collecting world. Stick around, because I'm going to tell you why this humble little coin is now worth $1,000,000, how to know if you've got one, and I'll share a funny story about how I nearly spent one by accident. Yeah, I know. Painful. So grab your coffee, maybe even dig out that old jar of change, and let's dive in. Alright, so first things first. The 2005 Kansas quarter. Part of the 50-state quarters program that ran from 1999 to 2008. Each state got its own design, and Kansas went with, you guessed it, the American bison and the sunflower. But there's a twist. Some of these quarters have a weird little error that makes them incredibly valuable. And when I say valuable, I mean life-changing valuable. Now, this particular coin is special because of something called a grease error. No, not like the stuff you use to fry bacon. I'm talking about a minting issue where grease or debris clogs the die. That's the thing that stamps the design onto the coin. When that happens, part of the design gets all funky. In the case of the Kansas quarter, this error caused the coin to famously say "In God we rust" instead of "In God we trust." Yep. Rust. R-U-S-T. Can you imagine the looks people gave when they first noticed that? It didn't take long for collectors to go bananas over this. And as more people started hunting for these rusted-out Kansas quarters, the value started climbing. Over the years, clean examples with that exact error and no mint mark have fetched thousands, even tens of thousands. But recently, get this, one in pristine condition sold to a serious collector for a whopping $1 million. Let that sink in. One quarter. One mistake. $1 million. Now I know what you're thinking. How can I tell if mine is worth that much? First, check for the absence of a mint mark. Most quarters will have a P for Philadelphia or D for Denver. If there's no letter at all under the date, that's the no mint mark version, and it's super rare for the Kansas quarter. Second, look for that famous typo, "In God we rust." It won't always be obvious, so grab a magnifying glass or take a good zoomed-in photo. Third, condition matters big time. If your coin looks like it's been through a blender, it's probably not going to fetch $1 million. But if it's shiny, clean, and has that error crisp and visible, you just might be sitting on a small fortune. So, about 5 years ago, I was at a gas station digging for change in my car's cup holder. I was 2 cents short for a coffee. I found a quarter stuck under a receipt and used it without thinking. A few days later, I was watching a YouTube video, kinda like this one, talking about the "In God we rust" Kansas quarter. I suddenly remembered that old crusty quarter I used at the pump. I swear to you, the way the bison looked, the weird shine it had. I'm 90% sure it was one of those error coins. So I did what any logical person would do. I went back to that gas station and asked the cashier if I could go through their till. Let me tell you, you've never seen a side eye like the one I got that day. Always check your change. Even if it means being that weird guy holding up the line at the grocery store. It might just pay off. Literally, now, the market for these Kansas quarters is hotter than ever. Serious collectors and even investors are trying to get their hands on one. And it's not just about the money, it's about owning a piece of history, a mistake that turned into a jackpot. 1. Don't underestimate a coin just because it's common. 2. Always look for errors, especially the funny ones. And 3. That cup holder in your car might be hiding something worth more than your car. If you've got a Kansas quarter with no mint mark and a suspiciously rusty looking, don't spend it. Don't toss it in the vending machine. Get it looked at by a professional, and hey, if this kind of stuff gets your gears turning, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button right now and ring the notification bell so you never miss another episode. We're diving deep into coins worth serious money, and I've got more stories, tips, and coin hunting strategies coming your way. Go check your change. Go look under your couch cushions. Go raid that junk drawer. Who knows? That $1 million quarter might be sitting there right now, just waiting for you to notice. We turn pocket change into pure excitement. If you have ever emptied your couch cushions and thought, hey, maybe this old quarter could buy me a burger, well, buckle up, because today we are talking about a coin that could buy you a whole burger franchise. Today we are diving into the 2018 P Mint Mark Pictured Rock State Quarter. You might think, it is just another shiny quarter with a fancy rock on it. Well, my friend, you might want to hold onto your seat, because one of these little beauties is currently valued at a jaw-dropping $1.1 million. That is right, a single quarter could be worth more than your house, your car, and probably your neighbor Bob's boat combined. Stick around, because I am going to tell you what makes these coins so special, what to look for, and share a hilarious story about the time I almost spent one at a gas station. True story. You are not going to want to miss this. The 2018 P Pictured Rocks quarter was part of the America the Beautiful series. It features the stunning cliffs and lockshores of Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore in Michigan. Beautiful spot. If you have never been there, by the way, just make sure you bring bug spray and maybe a camera, because it looks like a Bob Ross painting came to life. Now the P on the coin stands for the Philadelphia Mint, where it was struck. Philadelphia minted millions of these quarters, so why on earth would one be worth over $1 million? Well, like a lot of things in the coin world, it comes down to errors, condition, rarity, and a little sprinkle of luck. First, you have got to know condition matters big time. We are talking about coins that are graded MS70, that stands for Mint State 70 on the Sheldon scale, which basically means the coin is absolutely flawless, no scratches, no dings, no weird thumbprints from Uncle Larry, absolutely perfect, like it just rolled off the press straight into a velvet pillow. If your quarter looks like it has seen a few bar fights, unfortunately it is probably not getting you that mansion in the Bahamas. Second, some of these valuable 2018 P quarters have rare mint errors, things like double die obverse and reverse die cracks and off-center strikes. Even small tiny errors can crank up the value like you would not believe. We are talking about coins where George Washington looks a little tipsy, or the P mint mark is off kilter, or the cliffs have strange extra lines. These mistakes happen when something goes wrong during the minting process, and collectors go bananas for them. Imagine getting paid $1 million because someone at the mint sneezed while making your coin. That is living the dream. Third, and this is big, there are not many 2018 P Pictured Rocks quarters in perfect condition with those rare errors combined. That combo is like hitting the lottery while finding a 4-leaf clover while getting struck by lightning and surviving. You get the idea. It is rare, and collectors with deep pockets will fight over it like it is the last slice of pizza at a family reunion. About a year ago, I was cleaning out my car. You know how it is, you find about 9 half-eaten French fries, 2 sunglasses you forgot you owned, and about $3 in change. I grabbed a handful of quarters and walked into a gas station. I was about to pay for my coffee and a pack of gum when the cashier looks at one of the quarters and says, "Hey, that is a cool design." I glanced down, and sure enough, it is a 2018 P Pictured Rocks quarter. I almost shrugged it off, but something in my gut said, "Hey, maybe look at that again." Long story short, I stuck it in my pocket, went home, pulled out my trusty magnifying glass. Yes, I have a magnifying glass, do not judge, and started checking it out. Turns out mine was in great shape, but not quite mint condition, and no rare errors. Still worth a couple of bucks over face value, but nowhere near that 1.1 million mark. Moral of the story: trust your gut and maybe invest in a coin magnifier. You never know. Now, if you are wondering, okay, how do I know if I have the $1 million one? Here is what you need to do. Grab a magnifying glass or jeweler loupe, look closely at Washington's face and the P mint mark, check for doubling lines, cracks, or anything that looks weird but cool. 2, look at the overall condition. If it looks like it just left the mint yesterday, you are in business. 3, if you think you might have something special, get it graded by a reputable company like PCGS or NGC. Yes, it costs a little bit of money, but if your coin is worth even a fraction of $1 million, it is absolutely worth it. You might be thinking, well shoot, all the good ones are probably already gone. Not so fast, my friend. You can still find these in circulation, bank rolls, coin shows, or even in pocket change. People do not always know what they have, so keep your eyes peeled. Check your change every time you make a cash purchase. Raid your coin jar at home, go to the bank and ask for a few rolls of quarters. You would be amazed at what is still floating around out there. Just Waiting to make somebody rich. So there you have it, folks. The 2018 Pictured Rocks quarter is not just a pretty face, it could be your ticket to a life-changing payday if you happen to find the right one. Remember, it comes down to condition, rare errors, and a little bit of luck. And hey, even if you do not find the $1 million coin, you might still end up with a few that are worth way more than 25 cents. Not a bad return for checking your spare change right before you rush off to tear apart your couch cushions. If you found today's video helpful or even just mildly entertaining, do me a favor, smash that subscribe button. Like, seriously, do it. Hit that bell so you do not miss any of my future videos where I share more tips, tricks, and secrets on finding coins worth serious money. And hey, drop a comment below if you have ever found anything crazy in your change. I love hearing your stories. Thanks for hanging out today. Good luck hunting, and remember, every coin has a story, and maybe, just maybe, yours is worth $1 million. Alright, let me ask you something. Have you ever dropped a quarter on the ground, looked at it, and thought, it's just 25 cents? Well, what if I told you that you might have dropped a $1.2 million treasure and just walked away like it was pocket lint? Yeah, you heard that right. There's a 2003 Alabama quarter out there with a little OLP mint mark that's currently worth a jaw-dropping $1.2 million bucks. And nope, I'm not pulling your leg. This isn't Monopoly money. This is real cold hard cash. Today we're diving into the story of the 2003 Alabama State Quarter, why collectors are losing their minds over it, and how you might have one sitting in your junk drawer next to 3 dead AA batteries and a paperclip. So grab a drink, kick back, and let's talk coins that could buy you a mansion. Now, before we break down how this little coin turned into $1 million miracle, let me tell you a quick story. A few years back, I was helping my uncle clean out his garage. We were going through old boxes labeled things like stuff, more stuff, and definitely not trash. In one of these mysterious boxes, buried under cassette tapes and a plastic frog, was a jar of coins. You know, the classic pickle jar situation. And I swear, when I picked it up, it felt like I'd just discovered pirate treasure. I was hoping to find something wild. Instead, I found a Canadian penny, a token from Chuck E. Cheese, and a whole lot of gum stuck to a nickel. But you know what I didn't find? A 2003 Alabama quarter. And after today, you'll know exactly why I'm still losing sleep over that. Let's talk about what makes this quarter so special. The 2003 Alabama quarter was part of the 50 State Quarters program, one of the most successful coin releases in U.S. history. Millions of these quarters were minted, but only a very small number from the Philadelphia Mint, that's the P Mint mark, have this rare set of characteristics that makes collectors go bananas. The coin has to be in flawless condition. We're talking mint state, practically untouched by human hands. Not the one you used to scratch a lottery ticket, or the one that lived in the bottom of your jeans for 6 months. The strike. Some of these rare Alabama quarters were struck with what collectors call a strong die. That means all the details are sharp, you can see the folds in Helen Keller's dress, the braille letters are crisp, and the Spirit of Courage banner looks like it's about to wave in the wind. Basically, it looks more like a tiny work of art than spare change. Errors and anomalies. Some of these $1 million babies have small die breaks or double die reverses, basically little quirks from the minting process that collectors absolutely love. It's like a factory mess-up that turns into a payday. Only a handful of these coins have been certified at the highest grade with these traits. And when one of them hit the auction block, it blew expectations out of the water and sold for over $1.2 million. That's more than most folks pay for a house. For a coin that still technically says 25 cents on the label. The demand is only growing. There are thousands of collectors out there hunting these down, and the market for rare coins like this is getting hotter than a jalapeno in July. That means even more competition and even higher prices in the future. So if you've got some state quarters lying around, especially from 2003, do not, and I repeat, do not just toss them into the vending machine for a Snickers bar. You could be snacking away your retirement. Here's what you need to do. Grab your quarters, find the ones with Alabama on them, you'll see Helen Keller on the back, sitting next to a longleaf pine branch with stars all around. Then flip it over and look for that sweet little P mint mark on the front. If you've got that, you're already in the running. Nowhere on the high points. Can you see all the tiny details like you're looking through a magnifying glass? If yes, you're on the right track, and if you've got something that looks close, take it to a professional. Certified coin grading services like PCGS or NGC can tell you exactly what you've got. And if they give it a top grade, boom, you're in business. Alright folks, I'm not saying you're guaranteed to be sitting on $1 million quarter. But what I am saying is it never hurts to check. Because if someone out there can cash in a 2003 Alabama quarter for over $1 million, there's no reason it couldn't happen to you. This whole thing just proves how valuable knowledge can be. The right coin in the right condition with the right quirks can change your life. And that's exactly why I'm here, to help you find these hidden treasures in your pocket change before someone else does. Hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and turn on notifications because I've got more coin tips, rare finds, and collecting strategies coming your way that could turn your change into big-time money. Don't be like me, kicking yourself over a jar of coins that might have had a fortune inside. Be the one who checks, the one who knows, and maybe, just maybe, the one who cashes in. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Now go dig through that coin jar. When was the last time you actually looked at your pocket change before spending it on coffee or scratching off a lottery ticket? Because believe it or not, you could be holding onto a coin that's worth more than a Lamborghini. No kidding. I'm talking about a 2008 Hawaii state quarter that recently sold for a jaw-dropping $1.3 million. Yeah, that's 6 zeros, no joke. Now you might be thinking, come on, it's just a state quarter. They made tons of those. And you'd be right. But there's a twist. Not all quarters are created equal. Some are hiding little secrets worth a fortune. Today, we're diving deep into the story behind this $1 million Hawaii quarter. I'll tell you why it's so valuable, what makes it special, and how you can spot one yourself. I'll even share a little story about the time I almost spent a rare coin on a hot dog. Yeah, it still haunts me. So stick around, this could be the most valuable 10 minutes you ever spend on YouTube. And hey, if you're like me and love finding treasure in your junk drawer, you're in the right place. Well, this beauty was part of the 50 State Quarters program, released by the U.S. Mint to celebrate each state with its own design. Hawaii was actually the last one in the series, released in 2008. The design features King Kamehameha I stretching his arm toward the Hawaiian Islands, with the state motto in Hawaiian, now the Denver Mint. That little D mark you see under, "In God We Trust," produced hundreds of millions of these. So why the heck is one worth more than a mansion in Kansas? The rare $1.3 million version isn't just any OL quarter. It's got errors. It's got perfection. It's basically the unicorn of state quarters. We're talking about a double die obverse. That means the coin was struck with a slightly misaligned die, causing some of the lettering and images to appear doubled. Sounds like a mistake, right? But in the world of coin collecting, these kinds of goofs can be golden. Collectors go nuts over double die errors, especially if they're sharp, clean, and easy to spot. The more dramatic the doubling, the more cash it can bring in. When we say mint, we don't mean just pretty good. We mean uncirculated. No scratches, no pocket lint, no coffee stains. We're talking about a coin that looks like it just came off the press, graded by a professional coin grading service. This Hawaii quarter landed a nearly perfect score. That's like finding a vintage Mustang with zero rust and a full tank of gas. Out of the hundreds of millions of Hawaii quarters, only a handful have shown these characteristics. That means it's basically like winning the coin lottery. Let me take you back a few years. I was digging through some old coin rolls I'd picked up from a local bank. I like to call it coin roll hunting. It's basically treasure hunting for grown-ups. Anyway, I'm flipping through them, and boom, I find this shiny Hawaii quarter. I kid you not, it looked perfect. I stared at it, I googled it, I even squinted like Clint Eastwood at the thing, but being the impatient guy I am, I thought, nah, can't be worth much. I tossed it into my pocket and walked down to the corner food truck to grab a hot dog. Yup, you guessed it. I accidentally spent that bad boy on mustard and regret. Later that week, I saw an article about the rare double-die Hawaii quarter. My heart sank faster than a rock in the ocean. Check your change before you chow down. That hot dog cost me $1 million coin. Look closely at the letters in E pluribus unum and United States of America. Any signs of doubling? Check King Kamehameha's hand and the islands. Doubled lines or blurry features can be a red flag in a good way. Use a magnifying glass or one of those little coin loops. You don't need to be Indiana Jones. Just need good lighting and a little patience, and if you think you've found something, get it professionally graded. That's the only way to really confirm its value. Also, don't go cleaning your coins, alright? It's not a car. Cleaning can drop the value like a bowling ball. Collectors want original condition, even if it looks a little dull. Online coin marketplaces like Heritage Auctions or Great Collections, just make sure you get a second opinion and don't fall for lowball offers. There are collectors out there who'll shell out serious cash for the right coin. One guy bought this rare Hawaii quarter for $1.3 million. That's not a typo. Always check your pocket change. That quarter jingling in your jeans might be worth more than your entire car. The 2008 D Hawaii quarter can be worth a whopping $1.3 million if it has the right mix of mint errors and pristine condition. And remember, if you think you found a rare one, don't go spending it on hot dogs like I did. That might have been the most expensive lunch of my life. Hey, if you had fun today or learned something new, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'm always digging up the latest coin finds, valuable errors, and tips to help you turn spare change into serious cash. Drop a comment if you've ever found a weird coin or think you might have a rare one. Who knows, your story could be the next $1 million discovery. You ever flip a quarter and think, heads, I buy a coffee, tails, I discover $1 million treasure? Well, guess what, today it's tails, baby. Because we're diving into a 2016 P. Harper's Ferry quarter that's turning heads and emptying safes with a jaw-dropping value of $1.4 million. Yes, you heard that right, over $1 million for a quarter you might have just dropped in the vending machine. Now before you run off and raid your couch cushions, stick around. I'm about to tell you exactly why this coin is worth so much, what to look for, and how one ordinary day of coin roll hunting turned into something I'll never forget. This story's got history, mystery, and a little bit of caffeine-fueled panic. So grab a seat, maybe a magnifying glass, and let's talk about how you might be holding a fortune and not even know it. This quarter was part of the America the Beautiful series, which the U.S. Mint launched to celebrate national parks and historic sites. The Harper's Ferry design honors Harper's Ferry National Historical Park in West Virginia and features John Brown's fort right on the back of the coin. The obverse, or the front side, still has the good old George Washington we all know and love. But flip it over, and boom, you've got a piece of American history that could be worth more than your car. Or in my case, more than 3 of my cars combined. It all comes down to a perfect storm of rarity, condition, and a minting error that gives it that unicorn status. We're talking about a coin that looks normal on the surface but has microscopic details that scream collector's jackpot to the trained eye. Let's break it down. The 2016 P. Harper's Ferry quarter that sold for $1.4 million wasn't just pulled from a pocket. It was a near-perfect specimen, in mint state condition, with an extremely rare die clash error. That means the dies, the metal stamps used to strike the coin, smashed into each other without a blank coin in between, leaving behind ghost-like impressions on both sides. Now that might not sound like a big deal, but in the world of coin collecting, that's like finding a 4-leaf clover growing out of a winning lottery ticket, and it was graded by PCGS, the professional coin grading service, at a nearly flawless level. That matters. Big time. A coin in this condition with that kind of error is almost one of a kind. That's what sends collectors into a bidding frenzy, throwing around 7-figure offers like they're buying a house in California. Alright, let me tell you about the time I almost gave away a small fortune with a side of fries. About 2 years ago, I was at a local diner. One of those places where the waitress calls you "hon," and the coffee's been brewing since the Clinton administration. I finished my burger, tossed a couple quarters on the table for the tip, and walked out. 5 minutes later, I got that weird gut feeling, you know, the one where your brain goes, wait a minute, and your heart goes, what did I just do? I turned back, pretending like I left my phone. The waitress just smiled and said, "You mean this?" and handed me my phone. But I was eyeing the quarters like a raccoon in a jewelry store. One of them had a minty fresh gleam to it. It was a 2016 P. Harper's Ferry. Now I'm not saying it was the coin, but let's just say that sucker never made it into the tip jar. I went home, pulled out my loop, and inspected it. No die clash, no error, just a regular quarter, but ever since then, I check every 2016 P. Harper's Ferry I come across like it's a secret treasure map. Because you just never know, start coin roll hunting. Go to your bank, ask for a few rolls of quarters, and start searching. Look for coins in sharp condition. That means no scratches, no gunk, and a strong, crisp design. Pay special attention to the details around John Brown's Ford on the reverse. Use a magnifying glass or coin loop. Look for unusual impressions, ghost images, or doubling in the letters and design. If you see something weird, good weird, not, "what did my dog chew on" weird, set it aside, get it graded. If you think you found something special, send it to a professional grading service. A $30 grading fee might just turn into $1 million payday. Worth the gamble if you ask me, and don't forget to check online auction sites and forums to compare what you've got with known $1 million examples. Sometimes you'll see a coin listed at a crazy price, but condition and authenticity are key. So there you have it. One little quarter, one big payday, and a whole lot of reasons to stop spending your change like it's worthless. The 2016 P. Harper's Ferry quarter is proof that treasure can be hiding in plain sight, jingling in your pocket or sitting in your car's cup holder next to some old gum wrappers. Remember, coin collecting isn't just about hoarding shiny things. It's about history, discovery, and a little bit of luck. It's like the lottery, but smarter, because at least with this, you're learning something along the way. If you had fun today and want more stories, more tips, and more coin strategies that could put some serious cash in your wallet, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Tap that bell so you don't miss the next video, because we're diving into even more coins that people are throwing away without knowing their true value. Before you go, check your change. That quarter in your hand might just be worth more than your car. Alright folks, stop what you're doing and listen up. Imagine digging through your couch cushions, just looking for enough change to buy a soda, and you find a quarter. Nothing fancy. Just a regular 25-cent piece. Or so you think. Now, what if I told you that quarter could be worth $1.5 million? Yeah. Not a typo. Not a joke. A 2000 New Hampshire state quarter could actually make you a millionaire. That's right, a plain old pocket quarter with the old man of the mountain on it might just be your golden ticket. So before you dump that spare change into the Coinstar machine, you better stick around, because today, we're talking about one seriously valuable coin. We're diving deep into the story of the 2000 New Hampshire state quarter, how it went from spare change to millionaire status, and what you need to look for so you don't accidentally spend yours on a cup of coffee. You're gonna want to hear this. Let's start with the basics. The year was 2000. Y2K panic was fresh in the rearview mirror, and the US Mint was deep into its 50-state quarters program, one of the most successful coin programs ever launched. Each state got its moment of fame on the back of a Washington quarter, and New Hampshire was up. Now, the design? Classic New Hampshire. It featured the old man of the mountain, a rock formation that was basically the pride and joy of the Granite State, along with the words, "Live free or die." Can't get more New Hampshire than that. Over 450 million of these quarters were minted in total, and the Denver Mint, that's the D Mint mark we're talking about, was responsible for pumping out hundreds of millions of them. There's a rare error version of the 2000 New Hampshire quarter that collectors are absolutely losing their minds over. We're talking double die obverse errors, off-center strikes, and even some where the minting process left bizarre and dramatic visual effects. Some have strong doubling in the text, while others have die breaks that give the coin a wild, one-of-a-kind appearance, but the real money comes from a combination of two things: rarity and condition. If you've got one of these with an error and it's in pristine condition, I mean mint state condition, never seen a vending machine, never been flipped in a coin toss, then you, my friend, might just be sitting on a fortune. There's a verified 2000 D New Hampshire quarter with a rare error that sold for a jaw-dropping $1.5 million at a private auction. You heard that right. Somebody actually paid $1.5 million for a quarter. That's a return on investment that'd make Warren Buffett jealous. Now, let me tell you a quick personal story to show how easy it is to overlook something this valuable. So, a few years ago, I'm over at my cousin Kenny's house. We're watching football, and during a commercial break, I start rifling through this old mason jar of coins on his kitchen counter. I pick out a shiny state quarter, looked fresh. It was a 2000 D New Hampshire. I joked with him, said, "Hey Kenny, maybe this one's worth $1 million." He rolled his eyes, took the quarter, and used it to scrape ice off the windshield the next morning. Fast forward a year, and I'm knee-deep in coin research. I find out about that rare 2000 D quarter, the one with the exact error I think I saw on Kenny's coin. I call him up, and he goes, "Yeah, that thing? I used it to pay for a gas station coffee and a pack of gum." I just about cried right there. So yeah. You don't mess around with state quarters, especially not that one. What you want to look for is doubling on the words United States of America, or live free or die, any unusual die marks, or striking errors like off-center images or extra lines across the surface. Even small errors can skyrocket the value, especially if the coin is in top-notch condition, and don't forget, condition is everything. A circulated coin with an error might still fetch a few $100. But an uncirculated, mint state coin with the same error? That's when things go nuclear. We're talking thousands. Tens of thousands. And yes, even millions in the rarest cases. Now, I know what some of you are thinking: what are the odds? Well, let me ask you this: what are the odds of winning the lottery? Pretty slim, right? But people still buy tickets every day. At least with coin collecting, you get to keep your quarter. Worst case, it's still worth 25 cents. Best case? You retire early and buy a boat. Alright, my fellow treasure hunters, we've learned a lot today. The 2000 D New Hampshire state quarter might look ordinary, but it could be a hidden gem. Errors, condition, and a little bit of luck are the magic ingredients. Grab that coffee can full of change, the piggy bank, the junk drawer, even the cup holder in your truck. Start checking those quarters. Pay attention to the details. And whatever you do, if you find a shiny 2000 D quarter, don't scrape your windshield with it. Please. Do it for Kenny. If you love stories like this and want more coin collecting strategies, valuable finds, and ways to turn your pocket change into real money, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a video. I've got tons more tips coming your way, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's next. Thanks for hanging out with me, and happy hunting. May your next quarter be the $1 million one.